Hello everyone, my name is Gáspár Nagy, and in today's Atomic Talk, I would like to talk about how to improve continuous delivery by targeting quality aspects. Just a few words about myself. I have technical background, I was working as a developer, but nowadays I work as a coach, trainer, and I also find myself as BDD addict because I'm maintaining and helping the SpecFlow and Rack and Roll open source projects. But back to our topics. Actually, people used to say that we are living in a so-called digital revolution, a time of the digital revolution. And actually that causes quite many challenges also for software quality. What does that mean? I think these are the things that we all know. Actually, we have much more software and those software have more functionality. We have rapidly changing expectations. Almost every week there is something new that you have to react on. The technology explosion is dramatic, so there are so many things to choose from. And also, this also requires us to have frequently releases and always continuous delivery of the things. And that's basically how we can get to one solution or one tool or practice that is typically used by software projects, which is the continuous delivery, or CD, if you use the abbreviation for it. To define continuous delivery, we could say that it is a practice that to ensure that the application is always in a potentially maintainable, potentially deployable state. That means that it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to deploy it to the end users, but at least it should be always in a state, it should be always at the quality level that if you wish to do that, then it should be able to go to the end users and they should be able to use it. What does that mean in practice? Is that usually we have a so-called continuous delivery pipeline, or CI/CD pipeline, how it's commonly known, which is trying to make as many quality checks as it is possible. Typically, it is doing things like resolving file-level conflicts. It compiles or builds the project and tries to make some basic checks like running the unit test. It is deploying the things to the test environment. So it also verifies basically that the deployment package and the state of the application is in a deployable state. And obviously, it also runs many regressions and tests. And in my slides, I have a ... there, which means that probably there are a lot of other things which are more project or product specific in your environment, in your company, that has to be done to be able to get a good continuous delivery practice or continuous delivery pipeline. Whatever you put in there, definitely, continuous delivery doesn't necessarily mean that it automatically gets to the end users. You always have a chance, and this is not yet breaking the concept of continuous delivery, to make some additional human-centric verification steps at the end, or maybe just a decision whether you want to really send it out to the users. But if you follow this practice, basically we would like to minimize these human-centric steps. So we would like to basically automate as much as possible from that to be able to reach to be able to follow this practice basically. So, that means if teams trying to apply the concept of continuous delivery, that we need more testing and more automation. And that's absolutely visible if you are just looking at the IT world nowadays. What I have on my slides is a little bit older statistics. It's between the year 2014 and 15, but this kind of growth is basically continuously observable. So in that year, just in a single year, the amount of IT budget allocated for testing for QA has been increased by 9%, and the ratio of the automated test cases versus the manual or human executed test cases has been increased by 17% only in 1 year. And that kind of change, that kind of increase is absolutely visible, and that's part of our today's IT life. So that's good, and it's good that we have a frame or practice for that, like the continuous delivery. However, if you ever tried to do that yourself, or ever tried to build up a good CI/CD pipeline in your organization, you might have observed that the thing, what it is as a concept very clear, the thing in practice is not that simple. So in many cases, if you try to build up the pipeline or try to build up a usable solution, you will get into questions that, okay, but how many tests do I need to run? How many tests do I need at all to be able to build up a useful pipeline? What kind of tests these should be? Should be automated UI test or some integration test or more unit test, or how should I distribute this, and how should I find which kind of test do I need to include into that? Also, very quickly you will get to the point that you start wondering that, are there any white spots? Are there any areas of the software that we don't test at all? Or rather the opposite, what happens if there are parts of the application which we are testing by multiple tests, and there are some redundancy or overlapping in the testing here, and probably many other testing related questions. So altogether, I would say that whenever you are in this situation and whenever you kind of feel that you cannot answer so easily these questions, basically the real problem is that we need a little bit more guidance. So we need to have some ultimate goal that we could follow, or that we could get towards to, so that we can better answer these testing related questions. So obviously, there is no one single solution or no simple solution to do that, and there is no magical thing that you just turn on and it automatically answers you these questions. But for me, in my experience, what was really helping is that whenever you build up your continuous delivery process and the CI/CD pipeline, you should always try to focus on that. How much confidence, how much you are sure that whatever is coming out of the pipeline is really in a deployable state. So basically, based to add something to this long list, maybe that one thing that we would need to add is confidence, and that should be the primary factor that we are trying to reach for. Unfortunately, this is a subjective manner, so that maybe what makes me confidence is not necessarily making you confidence, but as a team, you can build up those things that you as a team make confident that whatever you have built and whatever was coming out of the CI/CD pipeline is ready to deploy, even if you are not deploying it to the end users. And if you think about that, and you are just shifting your mindset, shifting your focus a little bit away from the tests to the confidence, then things might be looking slightly differently. And I think there is a very interesting and also provocative quote from Ken Beck. He was saying at one point that he get paid for code that works, not for the tests. And understand it good. So that doesn't mean that the tests are not useful, but tests shouldn't be our primary goal, but the goal should be a code that works. So basically, our confidence in the quality of what we have delivered. Another quote that I wanted to bring in here is from Daniel Tenhorst North. He was once defining testing in a way that he was saying that it is something to increase confidence for stakeholders through evidence. So basically, tests and testing can also be seen as a tool that can also increase our confidence, and basically the test results are providing us with some evidence here. So it's a high-level goal, it's a high-level target to be able to increase our confidence, and obviously there are multiple different options to that. But today I would like to talk about the quality, the software quality. So how can we increase our quality, increase our confidence by better focusing on quality? So basically what we want to have here is that a little bit move away from the how do we test, from the what do we test, and what is the real purpose of those tests. For that, I really find useful a process or model where you are breaking down this quality. Quality is a complex thing. Breaking down the quality into multiple different sub-aspects and try to address those sub-aspects individually. There are multiple different classifications of quality. Different quality schools or ISTQB has their own breakdown of that. These are all good basically, but for now in this talk I would like to use a very simple model which I was basically learning from Kevin Haney, and which is just using three main categorization for these quality aspects. And for me, at least, it was very useful because it was easy to remember what kind of things do we need to focus on. The first category, or the first main quality aspect, is the functional quality. I think this is what we know the best anyway. To define what functional quality is, we could say that functional quality is basically that the tool, the software is working as expected. But what I would like to add to that is also very important that these expectations should be good and senseful, and also that these expectations should somehow be documented. This is not a BDD talk, but if you would like to learn about how to better address that, then behavior-driven development is a very good tool or option or method for that. The other big quality aspect is what Kevin is also calling operational aspects. Basically, those are the things that are making our software not only functional, but also better usable. So security, performance, convenience, usability, and such kind of things would come here. I think we all kind of know about these as well. And typically this is where teams are stopping, so that they focus on the functional and the operational quality. But actually that's not all. There is a third one as well, because you can imagine that there is a software that is functioning and working as expected and really working it nicely. What we also want to do is that this software should always also working in a two years time, or at least in a couple of months time, and we should be able to make change requests to that, and we should be able to make modifications on that. And that's basically introducing the third bigger aspect, which is the strategic quality aspect. And this is where things like maintainability, better architecture, code quality, flexibility, and such kind of things come in. Which are typically done by the developers, but maybe it's not so easy to give visibility to the management that these things are really important. So basically, if you are seeing them as part of the strategic quality aspect, then it also makes it easier to be able to sell this to the management, that these are really important things that we should take care of. So what you see on the screen is basically just high-level ideas that which directions you should go. But whenever I do this for a concrete project, I ask the team to sit together and basically list concrete things, concrete ideas, concrete challenges that they would like to focus on in the scope of that particular application, or in that scope of that particular function that they are implementing. There are a couple of concrete things here. It's like a patient management application. I don't want to read all of them, but you can get some hints from that. So for example, from the functional quality, for this application, it was important that it provides informational content for anonymous users, and it's also handling time zones. From the operational, it was important for them that it works on mobile, because their users are working mobile, and it's multi-language. And from the strategic, that they are easy to handle regulations. It's a regulated business, and it's scalable, because in that case it was a startup. They had only a few users now, but they were expected to have quite many in a closer time. So if you have these quality aspects and you have done through this exercise, then finding the right way to test them becomes easier, because typically one quality aspect can be tested multiple ways. So now you have multiple options, and also depending which one you are choosing, maybe different teams can help you. So definitely, if you want to choose the right ways to test, then you should do this collaboratively. You should sit together with the teams, and maybe with the help of the system or component diagram, or just to draw up the automation pyramid or testing quadrants. These tools are very good to facilitate such kind of discussions, and start discussing these quality aspects and try to find ways to better test this. At the end, this will be your testing strategy. And actually that brings me to the end. So basically what we have seen today is that we need to identify the quality aspects. We will need your tools and the team to be able to discuss that, and that helps us to create the necessary tests for our CI/CD pipeline. And altogether, that brings us to a nice testing or quality strategy. Are you ready? Are you confident? Thank you very much.